Hello, everyone. I'm Tanya Rivero. The current and former presidents are holding dueling rallies this evening. President Trump will soon take the stage in Indianapolis, and former President Obama will be campaigning for Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams in Atlanta. We will bring you these two events later in the evening. President Trump is hitting the campaign trail, making 6 stops in 6 states over the final weekend before the midterms. Mr. Trump was in West Virginia earlier Friday afternoon and is keeping immigration a top issue this election cycle. CBS News political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is traveling with the president.
Number one, we want to have strong borders.
Just 4 days before Election Day, President Trump is keeping focused on his signature issue, immigration.
Caravan after caravan is forming unvetted illegal aliens trying to flood into our country on your dollar.
Campaigning in Florida, former President Obama, the most high-profile Democratic surrogate on the trail, blasted what he calls his successor's fear tactics.
What we have not seen the way we're seeing right now is politicians just blatantly, repeatedly, boldly, shamelessly lying.
This week, the president has threatened to restrict asylum seekers on the southern border, unilaterally end birthright citizenship enshrined in the Constitution, and deploy up to 15,000 U.S. troops to the Mexican border to stop thousands of migrants still weeks away from crossing over. Waiting for him here in Indiana, supporters proved that Mr. Trump may be onto something.
What is the most important issue for you this year when you go to vote?
Immigration.
Main thing is immigration.
The immigration is a big deal.
They all say, speak about the economy, speak about the economy.
Some Republicans fear that Mr. Trump isn't talking enough about the economy. Just minutes after today's release of the monthly employment report showed the economy adding 250,000 jobs in October, with unemployment at a 49-year low, a senior aide to House Speaker Paul Ryan tweeted, "We're going to spend all day and weekend talking about the strong economy, right?" CBS contributor Dan Senor, who served in the George W. Bush administration, said focusing on the birthright citizenship issue could backfire.
And I think the biggest risk to the Republicans heading into these midterms is not the president's policy agenda, but is conveying chaos. And the way he's been handling some of the immigration issue reinforces chaos.
Ed O'Keefe joins me now from Indianapolis. Ed, what is the atmosphere like there in Indiana?
Well, it's a red neighborhood in a red state, and the president's here. So obviously it's pretty supportive of him, and he's brought along Vice President Pence, of course, a native son. But look, you talk to Republicans here, and with apologies to Frank Sinatra, they believe that if they can make it here, they'll make it anywhere, in that they'll be able to win this seat, which is held by a Democrat, and if they can do it here, they can probably do it in Missouri, North Dakota, maybe hold on in Arizona, and maybe defeat Bill Nelson in Florida. We'll see. This is the 4th stop the president is making on an 8-state, 11-rally blitz before Election Day, and he will be back here in Indiana later in the tour, showing exactly how confident they are they can win here and how much they believe the president can help the Senate candidate, Mike Braun, prevail.
Absolutely. So, Ed, over the past week, we've seen the president say he's going to end birthright citizenship, deny asylum to immigrants, and that the U.S. will treat rocks as rifles. Is all of this a winning strategy heading into the final weekend of the midterms?
Well, there's been some hand-wringing about that just today, Tanya. Several Republicans concerned, prominent Republicans, that the president's blowing a chance to hold on to the House and maybe preserve some of the governorships that are on the ballot next Tuesday by talking more about what they believe to be his biggest asset at this point, and that is an incredibly healthy economy. The unemployment rate, as announced today, is at a 49-year low. Growth is still going pretty well. Why not talk more about that? You saw some suggestions for the president at an earlier rally in tweeting today that he knows that maybe he should be focused more on it, but it's been mostly immigration. And you talk to people in the crowd here, you ask them, what's your primary issue of concern this election season? First word out of their mouth, immigration. So it seems the president knows what he's doing.
It's so interesting because it usually is the economy that people want to hear about.
Right.
I wonder if they just like the way the president presents the immigration issue. They enjoy it. Part of it is that it's sort of entertainment.
It could be that. It could also be what a guy named Gary told us earlier today. He's like, we all know the economy's doing well because we've got jobs. We're able to pay the mortgage. We can pay for college tuition. So go worry about this other issue, immigration, which worries all of us, certainly people in this crowd and Republican voters across the country. So, they may believe that they're coming from a position of strength on the economy, so why not whip up the base on other issues?
Right. All right. So before the president arrived in West Virginia on Friday, Ed, he took questions from reporters on the South Lawn. I want to play some of that for you now.
The president. Half of Americans say you're encouraging politically motivated violence with the way you speak.
No, you know what? You're creating violence by your questions. You are creating you. And also, a lot of the reporters are creating violence by not writing the truth.
So some of it was a little hard to hear, but the president essentially claimed the media is creating violence. Is all of this meant to pander to his base?
Pretty much. If you're not talking about immigration, if you're not reminding them about the good economy, you might as well go after what is now his biggest foil, and that is us. I mean, every day he does it, it seems to work, and it keeps his base happy. And, you can talk to people in this crowd or walk the lines as they come in, and they see us, ask who we're with, and they say, oh, well, that's too bad because you're fake news. But look, we'll see whether or not that works for him on Tuesday, whether it helps Republicans get elected. But there's no denying that he's going to keep doing it because, in his view at least, that's what he does, and he's doing it well.
All right. Well, Ed O'Keefe with the president there in Indiana, thank you.
Take care, Tanya.
Republicans are battling to keep control of the House of Representatives. 60 of the 66 most hotly contested seats in the House currently belong to the GOP, but a strong